Rockingham becoming too dangerous is a clear sign that things are too hectic. Once you decode the spelling and grammar, it becomes clear that there are several distinct species of anti-vaxxer. They are convinced the international vaccination campaign is a global conspiracy designed to do everything from make us compliant to big government to turning us into zombies.
Anti-vaxxers took the bait.
Hook, line and sinker. We used the last episode of this show to see just how crazy anti-vaxxers really are. The answer is... This was the bait. How do you argue with a person who is almost proud of being...
the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived?
Got a few choice comments?
I'll show you, but before we do, let's provide some context about what happened in Crazy Town today.
It's demented, it's deranged, it's outrageous, it's selfish.
That's not Mark McGowan talking about the Liberal Party. He's warning us about the new anti-vax tactic of targeting school kids.
Harassing kids at their schools or in shopping centres is not the Australian way. This kind of conduct is verging on urban terrorism.
It's getting bad enough for parents to want buffer zones outside schools because one of the health crusaders told a student, "I may as well shoot you." The danger isn't just outside.
We traced the call. It's coming from inside the house.
The principal of Divine Mercy College says he'd rather close the campus than get the jab. This happens on the same day Mark McGowan closes his electoral office because it's become too dangerous. Rockingham becoming too dangerous is a clear sign that things are too hectic.
What's it going to take for these anti-vaxxers to calm down?
Have a look at last night's comments and you tell me. Once you decode the spelling and grammar, it becomes clear that there are several distinct species of anti-vaxxer. Species 1 is too fastest for comforters.
I see what you've done there.
These people aren't universally against vaccination and they've often had their childhood shots. They're worried by the speed with which the AZ and Pfizer vaccines came to market. I was raising my eyebrows about this one myself. A lot of that speed was achieved not by cutting corners though, it's by queue jumping. Every medical scientist in the world was working on this and every government and research lab put other stuff on ice while they helped out. It wasn't a standing start. The previous coronavirus outbreaks of SARS in 2002 and MERS in 2012 gave us a leg up. The species Novartis mandatus comprises people who can be pro-vax but don't like the idea that governments can coerce people into injecting anything into their bodies. It's a civil liberties argument more than a medical one.
This is not about our health. This is about you trying to control us.
Species 3 is been hurt us before us. The cop that hit the headlines a couple of days ago kind of falls into this category. They've had health problems after being vaccinated previously and are understandably hesitant about doubling down. In the case of Senior Constable Chantel Uren, she genuinely believes that a stroke she had after her first jab was caused by the jab. She's wrong, but you can understand her fear. Species 4, Inspectus clusosus, people who like to do their own research. They believe that with some judicious Googling, they'll be able to independently verify or discount conclusions reached by the world's most qualified scientists. Their information is rarely from reputable sources like Britannica, Nature, or The Lancet or British Medical Journal. It's news sites like these. It's how people like this guy arrive at the conclusion that scientists used aborted fetuses to develop the vaccine.
You're wrong.
Which itself is killing more people than the virus is.
You're so wrong.
And that police could put you in a concentration camp if you refuse to get dosed.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
And he's educating the leaders of tomorrow.
I completely agree that you should do your own research when it comes to stuff like buying a dishwasher. But when it comes to molecular biology, let's leave it to the experts. Your taxes are paying them. Get your money's worth. Exphalsis boxetius, this is species number 5. Journos are used to dealing with these people. They are genuine in their conspiracy beliefs.
What's that supposed to mean?
They are completely nuts.
You're bat crap crazy.
They are convinced the international vaccination campaign is a global conspiracy designed to do everything from make us compliant to big government to turning us into zombies.
Have you been taking your meds?
Sturus maximus shitus, this is species number 6. These are the people who spend their evenings sitting in front of a screen in a dark room, probably jerking off to Scully or Mulder.
I mean, I woke up, I opened my eyes, I was soaking wet.
They use the protective cloak of anonymity to fire off abusive posts which they often don't even believe themselves, but it lets off a bit of steam because they're really pissed off about something completely different.
I am psychologically disturbed.
Species 7, Quittus majoris. These are the most dangerous and unpredictable type of anti-vaxxer. They're anarchists who use the pretense of a legitimate social cause like climate change, financial disparity, or electoral governance to legitimise their real intention, which is to cause as much chaos as possible.
Just professional protesters. Same ones you see on Saturday previously. I mean, they're just itching for a fight and they just come along for a fight.
We saw the anarchist fringe of the anti-vax movement on rude display in Melbourne. As with everything, it's taken Perth a little while to catch up, but we got there. Much like a small child, these people just like the thrill of breaking.
What's worse, anti-vaxxers or climate change deniers?
Thunbergus office. Descendants of flat earthers fall office. The government has just realised we are going to need a lot of space to create our new green hydrogen industry, which relies on passing a renewably generated electrical current through water to split the H from the O. There are new estimates out that say if the hydrogen industry gets as big as we need it to be in order to get to net zero by 2050, we will have to build so many solar panels and wind turbines they would cover 2/3 of New Zealand. Australia will need to generate 3 times the amount of electricity that it currently does in order to sustain a $50 billion a year green hydrogen industry. And that industry will need the equivalent of 2 Sydney harbours of fresh water each year. To free up some space for all this to happen, the WA government has created a new type of land tenure known as a diversification lease. It will allow businesses to use Crown land for things that are more interesting than grazing animals, like solar farms. That will allow people to pick up what Andrew Forrest has thrown down.
You're not going to let me take it all, are you? Come on, challenge me.
A lot of work to be done by 2050.
Yeah, we'll all be COVID zombies by then anyway. I'm Ben Harvey. For more update, click the subscribe button below.